right, guys, welcome back to Undisputed Interviews. Today's guest is UFC Bantamweight prospect Carlos Vera. How are you today, sir?
What's up, my brother? How you doing? Doing really good. Just getting
I'm
back
good. I'm good.
from Vegas. I got a little training out there. I was with another prospect. He's about to fight on the Contender Series, so we're having a good time, training hard.
Is that what that was with you in the Apex?
Yeah, I mean, we were doing media stuff for my buddy and his upcoming fight, but then obviously while we're in Vegas, we meet up with other fighters and we get some good training in. So
Yeah, because I knew we messaged the other day and you said you wanted to fight in August. So I didn't know if you were foreshadowing fighting in the Apex in August. So I was like, oh, okay, okay.
we're trying to find a fight in August, September. We're just kind of on the wait right now. They
Yeah.
wanted me to fight last weekend, but the opponent just happened to be a training partner. So we respectfully declined,
Yeah.
and we're just waiting for the next opportunity. So
Are you allowed to say who they wanted?
yeah, David Martinez. They wanted me to fight David Martinez. I was in Mexico actually training at the
Okay.
PI in Mexico, and he was one of my main training partners there. So we became good buddies, and there's a lot of loyalty when it comes to like being
Yeah.
Hispanic and that whole side over there. So we didn't want to. We'd rather not fight each other, and we were good.
He's a big prospect right now. The thing he did in Mexico against Simon Oliveira, that was
Yeah,
nasty. That was
that was a
nasty.
really good fight. It would have been a great fight, but I'd rather have him as a training partner. So
Yeah. I mean, in your last fight too, you fight Joseph Messiah, who I believe was undefeated. He was like a
mhm.
7-1 favorite coming in, and you dropped him with the head kick and then choked him in the first round. I mean, did you see the fight going like that, or you kind of expect a more difficult fight looking at the betting odds and looking like
I
how
mean,
high
the
tip
the
he
fight
was?
the fight was difficult, was good. It was a good fight. I was expecting a good fight, a good technical fight, which what it was. I don't think he knew that I knew how to strike. I think he just thought that I was a grappler.
Yeah.
My fight against Nakamura, I showed mainly grappling because I had tore my shoulder and tore my knee, so I was like
Oh, okay.
heavily injured in like the first minute of round one. It was a freak accident. So I couldn't really stand and strike the way I wanted to, and I couldn't even like go for submissions. I had to play a specific game to stay safe, be able to stay in the fight, and go
Yeah.
for specific submissions. So I'm sure he studied that fight. He's like, oh, this guy doesn't want to strike. He doesn't know how to strike, which worked out in my favor. We drilled a lot of kicks. We trained a lot of specific weird angles, kind of the way
Mm-hmm.
that kick played out, and it came out, man. It worked through. He was very
Yeah.
tough. I mean, I kicked him in the face a few times, and I hit him in the head a few times, and he was a very tough fighter. But that last kick stunned him, and as soon as he hit the ground, I was actually going for a ground and pound, but he exposed his back, and the jujitsu side of me just I just wrapped him up. It was
Yeah.
just instinct. So
Were you expecting to get him out there in the first round, or you like this is probably going to be an all-out war and decision is probably
I never expect anything, man. I just go in there
yeah.
ready to fight. If it goes out in the first round, cool. If it goes all 3 rounds, cool. If it goes all 5 rounds, cool. So
Yeah.
we're just ready for whatever.
Did you take disrespect to being that big of an underdog, considering you're more of the veteran? You fought the higher competition coming in. Like, were you like, I'm such a big underdog to a kid that's fairly untested in his career, and you didn't like,
I said this in some of my interviews. I don't really see or listen to any of that. People are
yeah,
going to talk, but no one really knows the fights that I've gone through. People look at my age and they see somebody who is an older fighter, but I mean, I move like a young fighter. I would say, I have a pretty good technique, and I don't really get
yeah,
hit a lot. I don't fight like a brute. Not that that's not a good thing. It's really fun to do that, but uh, yeah, I didn't really find any kind of disrespect. I thought it was just it was just show business. So that's the important
yeah.
thing. Is if I can basically keep my mind neutral whenever any of those things happen,
Hmm.
I just it kind of glances off of me, it bounces off of me.
Yeah. I mean, you were a big underdog, and even from my perspective, right, as a fan, I don't understand big favorites in general. Like Amanda Nunes. over the Pena thing is understandable, but like I think it's weird how people hype up such undefeated prospects, especially in the debuts. You know what I mean? It's just like should probably see what they can do in the UFC first before everybody's throwing their money on them.
Yeah, I mean that's just part of the showbiz, right? I mean they have
Yeah,
to they want to make money, they want to bet, it's Vegas. So they're gonna, see who's got the more hype and who's got the
yeah,
more wins. I had just come off two losses. I lost on the Ultimate Fighter against the champ. And it was a very close fight, and then I lost against Nakamura where I was injured. So
yeah.
of course I kind of understand where they came from. That being said, my last two opponents were pretty high level compared to what Messias had faced. So what Musasa had
Yeah.
faced. So that was a big one. I haven't fought chumps. Even on the regional scene, I fought pretty big names. So
Hmm.
I think I had the little bit better of experience there.
Yeah, I mean, we were DMing the other day, and I was like, "Oh, you," and I mentioned Raul Rosas Jr. to you, and you said you heard he's moving up to featherweight, right?
That's what I heard. I heard he was moving up to featherweight. I'm not sure if that's 100% true, but I did
Oh,
hear that.
okay. And then you said Peyton Talbot, and I swear you said Peyton Talbot. 45 minutes later, Peyton Talbot got announced to fight Felipe Lima on International Fight
Uh-huh.
Week, and I was like, "Oh, bro, you literally just said that." That was. But are there any other names in mind? They
I
like.
mean, I want to fight, really good fighters. Obviously, Peyton Talbot's one guy that I like his style. I think we would make
Hmm.
a fantastic fighter. It would be a really fun fight between both of us. Um, who else? Ricky Simone. He's another one. He's got a really cool and fun style. What's this new guy
Yeah.
that just knocked out Moutinho again? Malcolm
Malcolm
Wellmaker.
Wellmaker.
He's another one that I would like to fight. I'd really like to fight him. He's got a really good style. He just won two bonuses in two fights.
Yep.
Like good for
Yep.
him.
Yep. Yep.
That would be an awesome fight for me to have. So I would, yeah, these are guys that I don't mind fighting. I would like to fight them. They have some hype behind them, and I think we would have a really fun fight.
I think you and Adrian Yanez would be cool.
That'd be another one. I like Giannis as well.
I like
Giannis is a
Yanez. Big
he's a
fan of him.
scrappy dude. Me too,
Yeah.
man. I remember seeing him fight. I was like, holy crap! Like this dude is a scrapper, and he's from Texas, So it's been cool. Like I've trained down there with some of his
Yeah.
teammates. So that'd also be a really fun fight. Yeah,
Hey, the September Mexico card is in San Antonio. That's Texas. Vera
yeah.
versus Yanez in
Hey,
September.
I mean that would actually be ideal. I would love to fight on that Noche card. That would be
Yeah.
really really cool and fun. But we'll see. We'll see what the UFC has in store.
Yeah, I was at UFC Tampa when Yanez fought. Dude, I was standing on my chair screaming for Yanez. And
That's
then,
awesome.
he took that L, but it's all good. But
That's the
yeah,
name of
I
the
feel
game,
like
bro.
I feel like the bantamweight division's really stacked nowadays. Obviously, we got the up and comers like yourself, Malcolm Wellmaker, Payne Talbot, still Felipe Lima, and then we got some of the veterans like not Aljamain Sterling, Marlon Vera, Barab Dwashvili, Piotr Jan. I mean, when you look at how the bantamweight division is stacked right now with the layout through the top 15 all the way to the top 100 or however bantamweight fighters are in this division, how do you compare it to the TJ Dillashaw era, the man, what is his name? Henan Barrow, the Aljamain Sterling era. Like, do you feel like the bantamweight
So
division is stacked?
yeah, 100%. I mean, I love Hennenbrow. I thought
Yeah.
Hennenbrow was the man when I was watching him. But he didn't necessarily evolve. He I think he stayed what he was, and the game continued to evolve. And then all of a sudden, he met the T.J. Dillashaws, and lost to T.J. Dillashaw, and then T.J. Dillashaw obviously he went through his thing. He fought in Cejudo and this and that, but it's a big difference, dude. The game evolves. It
Mm-hmm.
just is what it is. The fighters are going to be different, more well rounded, less specifically dangerous. Back then, Barao had a phenomenal kickboxing game. But it was a very Muay Thai style, like South American Muay Thai style. His jiu-jitsu was decent, but
Yeah.
he found the weird kind of Dutchish kickboxing from TJ Dillashaw, and it gave him trouble, and then TJ Dillashaw lost against Cejudo, who was, that next upcoming wrestler slash boxer slash, feinting movement guy. So every era, the fights get a little bit more diverse, a little bit harder, a little bit more evolved. So
Yeah.
I think right now we're probably in some of the toughest era. I mean, look, our top guys right now are what Corey Sandhagen, Peter Yan. Obviously, we have the champ. We have Marab, which is a heavy wrestling, but gritty style and also just insane cardio. So, I think our era right now is probably one of the hardest ones.
Yeah.
And it's already kind of bumped out like the Jose Aldo. He's been out. He's lost to several other guys. So yeah, it's a interesting time for the bantamweight division.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously you just mentioned Marab, the champ, went out there at UFC 316, submitted Sean O'Malley. Not happy about it, you know. Wish it didn't happen, but Marab had probably one of the best performances of his career, carrying Sean across the octagon, and then obviously Corey Sandhagen is what we think is next. How do you see that fight with Marab and Corey playing out? As dominant as Marab's been, running through pretty much everybody, he hasn't really had a competitive fight besides the first O'Malley fight, and Corey Sandhagen coming off that win over Figueiredo, fought Piotr Yan, fought Song Yadong.
I think that fight's going to be a really interesting fight.
Yep.
I don't think Marab has faced anybody like Corey before. Corey's probably going to be the best striker that Marab's going to face to date, in my opinion. And by me saying the best, I mean the trickiest, because there are
Yes.
different styles of striking. Peter Yan is not necessarily too tricky, but he is very head forward, headstrong. I'm gonna walk forward. I'm gonna get in your grill, and I'm gonna be very evasive, but in your face.
Hmm.
Corey is now more of a movement evasive guy, very similar to Sean O'Malley, but in my opinion, more dynamic. I think one of the reasons O'Malley and Sandhagen were never made because they didn't want to ruin the Golden Boys' opportunity to the belt. Because I think Sandhagen would have beat O'Malley. O'Malley doesn't show much risk on the ground. Um,
Yep.
so Sandhagen versus Marab, uh, I think he can give Marab trouble with movement, and Corey actually trains with us here at 50-50. So he's got a lot of knowledge in specific positions that we train all the time, like you saw against
Hmm.
Figueredo. So if Corey can, play that to his advantage, whenever Maram grabs a hold of him, he can bring the fight to his part of the game. I think he would have
Yep.
an advantage there, and he would take away some of Maram's ability to play his overall game. However, I don't think it's going to be an easy fight. I think it's going to be potentially similar to like the Umar Corey fight, but Corey I think has sharpened up a few of the tools.
Yes,
But
sir. Yep.
I think it's going to be a great fight.
Do you have a like do you are you leaning towards one or the other right now? Do you have like in your mind, do you have someone that you think is gonna win as of right now?
Corey's my buddy, man. So in my
Corey?
mind, Corey's going to go in there and take it. Yeah,
I mean, me personally, I love Corey. He's my second favorite bantamweight, right behind O'Malley. And
yeah.
I would love nothing more than Corey to fly knee Marab for what he did to O'Malley. But I kind of think Marab's the greatest bantamweight of all time right now. I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, I get it that his code hasn't been cracked yet, and that's what they say about everybody. This dude's the best of all
yeah,
time until their code is cracked, and then all of a sudden there's a hole in their game, and boom.
yeah,
So right now the era is who can crack his code, So
yeah. I mean,
we'll
because
see.
people were saying same thing about Aljamain, and O'Malley went out there and KO'd him. But I mean, I feel like it's different right now. I mean, with the Hen and Barrow, he ran through the same guys, beat some guys twice. Rob's now starting to do that. He's beat O'Malley twice. He's beat Piotr Yan. If he goes out there and beats Corey Sandhagen and beats Piotr Yan or Omar Nurmagomedov again, there's really nobody left. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, agreed. I mean, they're gonna have to start giving these other guys an opportunity, like the rankings are gonna have to start like revolving
Yep.
because honestly, they're gonna have to give these other guys the opportunity. But who knows, man? We'll see. We'll see where everything plays out. I do think he has demonstrated to be one of the top bantamweights. His style is just so awesome. So
Insane.
I'm a big Marat fan, dude. Don't get me wrong. I study him
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
time. So yeah. So we'll see how it plays out. But just because Corey's my buddy, and just because I've seen him and how he trains, I know he's a smart dude. I think he could take it. But I'm not saying it's easy. He's gonna have to, put a lot of focus in there. But yeah, I think he can do it.
Yeah, I've been saying for a while that one fight I want to see is Pantoja versus Marab. And Pantoja doesn't want to go up to 35, but
But
I
I don't
want to
think
see that
Andrade
fight
beats.
so bad. I've been wanting it.
Yeah,
I don't
I don't
think we're
think
gonna
he
get it
takes it,
though.
but he I think it would be another very entertaining fight for sure.
Yeah, I mean they both got insane cardio. They both got
Yeah,
like funky striking too. It's not like fundamental, but it's like really effective.
yeah, agreed.
I mean, and you just said with Peter Yan and the top guys, they need to start revolving the rankings. Peter Yan was just announced to fight Marcus McGee, who's ranked believe 13. I'm having him on the channel tomorrow, so this is gonna be interesting. But
Cool.
um, how do you feel about that with Peter Yan being ranked, I believe, number 3, Marcus McGee being ranked 13? The fight was kind of made out of nowhere. I mean, I've seen backlash online saying like Peter Yan shouldn't have to fight all the way down, but at the same time, he's lost to Marab. I
Yes.
mean, it's
So
real difficult.
I think it's for relevance. In my opinion, I think this is what's going to happen. If Peter Yan, he wanted to fight, he needed to fight. He couldn't fight the top guys because they're already kind of marched to fight against each other, or he's already fought them. So
Hmm.
I think if he fights McGee, beats McGee, he's going to fight for the title again. And then if that happens, I think Sean O'Malley and Corey Sandhagen are going to be matched up together. However, if Peter loses, then Corey and Marab fight. So I think that's where everything is leaning towards right now. We'll see, but I think that was a big one. Peter,
Yeah,
he just wanted to stay active. So, I think he's got a really good fight on his hands, and he can. If he wins, I think he'll get another shot to the title. I don't think it's going to make much difference, but um, he'll get another shot to the title, and then Corey will have the banger of Corey versus Sean. I can't wait to see that
yeah.
fight. That
I
fight's gonna
feel
be freaking awesome.
I
So
feel like even though Corey and O'Malley aren't the champs, that's the biggest fight in the division.
yeah, 100%. I feel like that's
That's
gonna be
the
way more
biggest fight.
entertaining than Peter Yan versus O'Malley because Peter Yan versus Marab because that's already happened. We
Yeah,
already saw legit Marab destroy this kid.
I
So
know. 50-45s is insane.
yeah, I was on the Ultimate Fighter when that happened. We watched that
Oh,
in the house, so it was
yeah,
like we were all like bugging, man. But I think that's what's gonna happen. So we'll see. There's a lot riding on the
yeah.
Peter versus McGee fight.
I know Umar broke his hand, but I remember back in like February, him and Piotr said they were gonna fight on July 26th. So I think that's why everybody thought was like, oh, Piotr's gonna sit, wait for because Umar's back in training. So everybody was like,
Yeah,
oh, we're gonna wait and see Piotr versus Umar, which is a great fight, which I would love to see, and I think it's a winnable fight for Piotr. I think Piotr, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know who's gonna win between Piotr and Marcus. I really like him, but I for sure thought it was gonna be Umar Piotr.
yeah, man. I think, like I said, with him being injured, the matchmakers are just doing what feels right, and I
Yeah,
feel like what I said, I feel is gonna happen. One way or another, I'm excited for Corey because he's either gonna fight Marab or he's gonna fight O'Malley, and they're both fucking bangers. I think it would be an awesome Cinderella story to have him fucking fight O'Malley, destroy the Golden Boy, and then fucking go for Marab. I think that would be freaking awesome. I
yeah,
love Sean O'Malley's style too, so I'm just talking smack because Corey's my boy. I'm a big fan of O'Malley, uh,
you know.
but I have faith in my buddy.
Yeah, I know O'Malley just said on the Ariel Hawani show he's coming back relatively soon. And Marab said he wants to fight in November. I believe November, December. And Corey said he'll wait for the title shot for that. They might do O'Malley versus Song Yadong. They might.
Yeah, I think O'Malley wins that fight. Um,
Me too. I love it though. I would love that fight. 5 rounds. I don't care. Let's do it.
yeah, I mean it's gonna be entertaining. Song Yadong is
Yeah.
like the toughest person on the planet, but I think just O'Malley's style gives Song Yadong just like Corey was able to beat Song Yadong. I think O'Malley would do the same. Corey and O'Malley have very similar styles where they move laterally, they move in, they move out, they fight long, they fight short. Um, Song Yadong versus Peter Young, they have more similar styles where they walk towards each other and fucking go for a bang. So
Yep.
that styles make fights, and it's a very exciting fight.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. If they do O'Malley versus Sanhagen, please let it be 5 rounds. We don't want 3 rounds. We want a 5 round co-main event, main event fight night. We don't care. We want 5 rounds for that.
Definitely,
That's the
definitely,
only
definitely.
exception.
Agreed, agreed.
And also, we just got more big news for the bantamweight division as well. Bryce Mitchell, a big 145er, coming down to 135, fighting Saeed Nurmagomedov on July 26th. Um, how do you feel about that? And who do you think's winning that?
I have to study a little bit more from Saeed. I mean, I hear the name Nurmagomedov, and I understand that there's going to be wrestling
Yeah,
and power striking. So
yeah,
but I have to see how. I think one of the big keys to beating that style could be like funky jiu-jitsu, and I think Bryce has that, but I don't know
yeah,
if Bryce is the most powerful dude. Like these Russians and these Dagestani guys, they're like freaking just athletic monsters, man. They have a
yeah.
lot of power to their style, and Bryce is a little bit more flimsy. I'm not saying he's not tough, and he. So I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to study him a little bit more to give you more of my opinion. But I think that would be a really fun matchup. I'd love to fight Bryce. Bryce would be a really fun fight for me too. I'd really like to get in there with him. You know, he fought Brad Katona on the Ultimate Fighter
Hmm.
several seasons ago. You know, so like I think that would be a really fun matchup. But yeah, I'm really excited to see them go at it.
Yeah, you just mentioned Brackettona. He just got cut from the UFC. UFC is dead wrong for that. UFC is
I
dead
mean,
wrong for that.
dude, it's a cutthroat business,
Yeah,
bro. It's a cutthroat
yeah, that's
business, you
true.
know. And after winning the Ultimate Fighter, he went 1-3. You know, so he won one fight and lost three. You know, so yeah, it sucks. You know, and I really
How'd he
like
beat
Brad.
Jean Matsumoto though?
Yeah, I mean it was a close fight.
It
You know,
was so close.
I like Brad. I like his style. You know, he's a smart fighter. And it's unfortunate because sometimes the fans, we're still entertainers, and if the fans don't necessarily like your style, they can kind of, you know, to kind
Influence,
of
yeah,
just not give you that fan favoritism that can get you to that next level.
yeah,
So I think that was part of the issue. You know, sometimes Brad didn't have the most diverse striking style. He was very strong, very explosive, but he would try to win by decisions. You know, he would try to take it to the wall, take him down, like kind of grind him down, which is, I mean, bro, it's a very smart strategy. But it sucks, it sucks because the UFC is cutthroat. I know they are, so it is what it is. You know, it's the
yeah,
game of it's a game of champs. So I know he'll get back on top wherever he goes, whether he goes to PFL or wherever else. You know, he's a smart and phenomenal fighter. So I'm very excited for whatever he has next.
yeah. I think he's really underrated. Yep.
Yeah.
But I believe you're part Ecuadorian. Is that correct?
I'm full Ecuadorian. I was
You're
born and
full
raised on,
Ecuadorian.
yeah.
There's also another Ecuadorian fighter in the bantamweight division, Marlon Vera. There's also Michael Morales. I feel like those are the three big names that are Ecuadorians. I mean, what does it mean to you to be able to represent an Ecuador, like represent Ecuador in the UFC stage, knowing there's really only three or four Ecuador. I believe Victoria
It's only three
Hardy.
of us. It's
Three.
only
Okay.
three.
I didn't
Yeah.
know Victoria Hardy was also one, but
No, no.
yeah.
It used to be Esparza. Esparza. She was part Ecuadorian.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Carlos.
Yep. Yep.
So cool, man. When I was a kid, I trained martial arts. I trained high level taekwondo, and I went to the Junior Olympics, or I
Hmm.
wanted to go to the Junior Olympics several times, but I couldn't go because I couldn't rep the U.S. I wasn't a citizen yet, and then I wasn't part of the Ecuadorian team, so I couldn't rep Ecuador. So I was kind of stuck in this limbo. So it was always because I lived in the U.S. at this point. It
Hmm.
was always my goal. I was like, man, I wish I could rep Ecuador in the Olympics. I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. So um, it was once I started fighting in like the minor league scene, like the Furies and the LFAs. I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna rep Ecuador, man. And then next thing you know, I saw Cheeto go on the Ultimate Fighter Latin America. My passport was expired. I was gonna try to get on that same card on that same season. And then Michael Morales came, who's a freaking phenom.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. Right now we have three Ecuadorians in the UFC, and I'm one of them. I think this year we're gonna have one or two more, because I know a few guys are potentially gonna be on the Contender Series, which is gonna be really cool. But it's a special thing, for a small nation that doesn't have a lot of fighters on the big stage. It's
Hmm.
always cool to rep the flag.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like you said, Michael Morales, absolute phenom, destroyed Gilbert Burns. Um, I don't like he did that. I love Gilbert, but I can't really complain. He had an
Yeah,
amazing performance. Obviously, Marlon Vera was meant to fight Mario Bautista. He had to pull out, but Marlon Vera's been the top dog, or one of the top dogs at bantamweight for years now. Fought O'Malley, fought Sanhagen. I believe he fought Song Yadong early in his UFC career. So he's
lost them.
definitely Rob Font too. Rob Font. So I mean, he's definitely fought some top dogs, and you on your way up in bantamweight, which is amazing to see. I mean, not a lot of people can say, "Hey, I'm from Ecuador and I'm repping the UFC and fighting at the highest of the highs right now."
Correct, correct. Yeah, man, I'm a big fan of all those guys. I love seeing Cheeto fight. Cheeto's a very fun fighter.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm sure at some point maybe we'll have to meet, but the roster's so damn big that who knows. The goal right now for me is um getting doing great in my next few fights and then get to the top something, to be ranked.
Yeah,
But right now the whatever's in front of me, that's what I'm gonna focus on. And I think my patience has helped me become the fighter that I am today. I try to be technical, I try to be sharp, I try to be safe, and I try to be different. And that is what makes sets me apart, in my opinion.
listen.
I don't mind going to the ground. I don't mind keeping standing. I'm developing more wrestling as we speak.
Hmm.
So, yeah, man. So we'll see where it goes. But I'm gonna take each fight seriously and give it my all. And God willing, we can take it as far as we can.
Dude, I feel like if Marlon Vera stays at the top of the division, you work your way up to that top 10. They have to go to Ecuador and make you versus Marlon Vera the fight night main event. There's no exception. If they put that in Vegas, no way, dude.
That
Ecuador
would be
Marlon
awesome.
Vera versus Carlos Vera. You both got Vera in your name
I
too.
know,
It
I know.
makes
And
all the
his
sense.
his village is literally like an hour away from mine too. Like we're both from the same part of the country, which is super weird. We both kind
Dude,
of
that's
look
insane.
alike. We both kind of look alike. I'm kind of sure that maybe we have like very far relatives.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. It's something in the blood, bro. The Bears like to fight.
Have you met him in person yet?
No, no, man. We've never actually crossed
No
paths.
way.
We
Dude, that's
never
gonna be
crossed
epic.
paths, dude. We never crossed paths. Morales, yes. All these other Ecuadorian fighters, because I go to Mexico to train out there. A lot of the Ecuadorian fighters go to Mexico to train. So I've been to Mexico, train with the other Ecuadorian fighters, because there's a group of us
Mm-hmm.
that are like at the cusp of the UFC. They're literally on the waiting list. So
For the
yeah,
for
man.
the
But
contenders?
yeah, for the contender
Okay,
or
okay,
just
okay.
a late call replacement.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes they have to fight in the states and they're waiting for that visa, and the visa might not be there. But overall, man, yeah, man, I'm a big fan. So the goal would be to bring UFC to Ecuador. That would be freaking awesome.
Dude, you gotta DM Marlon Vera or something. You gotta be like, bro, we might be family. You gotta let him
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's like, who the fuck is this Vera dude, bro? But yeah, man, yeah, we'll see. I'm sure we'll meet. We'll cross paths eventually.
Yeah, I mean, and also your nickname. This might be an Ecuadorian word. I don't know. Pequeno. I feel like I definitely said that wrong.
You did.
I did.
Pequeno or Pequeno. Pequeno. I actually got it from Portuguese because I trained capoeira for a long time. So it's just kind of like the short one, or like short king, or like
Short.
like
Okay.
yeah, like that dude.
Okay.
Like Smalls. That would be like a good translation in English. Like, what's up, Smalls? Like that's my nickname. I'm not the tallest dude, and I always fought tall people. But yeah, that's my nickname. I kind of embrace it. I'm a small dude,
Yeah.
but I'm fast and I'm mighty. So
Do
that's
you
the
remember
goal.
who gave you it
Yeah, my teacher, my Brazilian teacher.
at
He's
school?
no at
Oh, I was
capoeira,
about to
capoeira.
say.
I was 19. I was 19, but he was like, "Hey,
Okay.
what's up, Smalls?" I was like, "I like it."
You just carried it ever since.
That's it, brother. That's it.
Did you still train with him?
I do. I do. Whenever he comes back into town, or whenever I go to Brazil, we all
Yeah.
train together. Yeah.
What kind of gyms do you go to in Brazil? Like shoot a box, fighting nerds.
Actually, when I've gone there, I've only trained capoeira. And I've trained
Okay.
a little bit of jujitsu, but more than anything, capoeira. Capoeira is an Afro-Brazilian martial art. I don't know if you've ever played Tekken before. No.
No.
All right. Well, it's like a dance fighting art, but
Oh, okay, okay.
honestly, it's been the basis to my footwork a lot of times. That
Yeah.
in Taekwondo, that's why I move funky and I move weird. So Yeah, so whenever I've gone to Brazil, I've trained with them, but I do plan on going back and training at. I actually talked to Jose Ochoa, who just fought.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
he was in the PI on Saturday or Sunday and Monday. So we trained together, we hung out, and we became good friends, we became good contacts. So he lives in Sao Paulo and he trains right there. And that's literally a few hours away from the city where I go train. So it's very
Hmm.
possible that we can meet up at some point and train out there. He trains with Charles the Bronx and Damian
Yeah.
Maya. So those would be
Me
legendary
and
dudes to
Gary.
train with. Yeah, it'd be legendary dudes to train with out there.
Yeah, I mean Jose Cho's got an amazing KO over Cody Durden.
Yeah, yeah. So
Who's right outside that top 15 too. That was huge.
yeah, so it's exciting, man. It's exciting to see that.
Yeah. I as you said, a lot of Ecuadorian fighters coming up, in the pros and in the amateurs, I'm sure. But do you have any advice for the any like amateur MMA fighters who want to fight in the UFC? Want to do this for a living and what advice could you give them that you wish you knew early in your career as an amateur, as a low level pro?
Sure, man. As an amateur, any amateur, what no matter where you're from, I would say, dude, take all the fights that you can.
Yep.
Like literally, as an amateur, you get a clean slate when you go pro. Like
Hmm.
take all these fights, get as much experience as you can. Treat it like boxing if you can. Like get freaking 40 amateur fights, dude. And as
Yep.
long as you stay safe, like, as long as it doesn't wear on your body, um, then why not? Like that's all the experience that you need. The problem is a lot of these guys get three or four or five or six amateur fights and then all of a sudden they do well, then all of a sudden they go pro and they just happen to be matched up with a seasoned pro and now or a pro that has had a lot of amateur fights and now all of a sudden there is a difference. That's the
Yep.
first thing. And then beginner pros, um, don't think that being in like a regional show or like a local show and fighting their top guys is the same thing as fighting like the nation's top guys at these regional cards or these minor league cards like Fury or LFA or CFFC or Tough Enough. Like these promotions, your goal should be let me beat everybody on the local scene. Let me hit that next level and let me fight the best that I can fight on these scenes and make sure that I can make it. Because what
Hmm.
we end up seeing is they do really good in the local scenes. They'll go to
Hmm.
the regional scenes and get one or two fights do good. And then if they get called up, awesome, because they have a very padded record of local scene guys.
Hmm.
And then when they get there, all of a sudden they fight a Song Yadong and it doesn't look great. So I would say like get as much as experience as you can. Um, skill
Yeah.
build versus like getting tougher. Like you already have to have an innate toughness to do this sport. So don't focus on like just hard sparring all the time. Like have that be part of your camp, but don't let that be the majority of your stuff. Skill builds, get better with your skills, and everything else will fall into place.
Yeah. I'm an amateur boxer, so you know if you fight in
Yeah, man.
September, I might fight in September too. So we might fight on the same day, which would be crazy.
That
But
would
yeah,
be awesome, man.
that
Badass,
would
man.
be cool. That would be cool.
Best of luck to you. Is that
And
a Cheeto
thank you.
Vera shirt?
Yes, it is.
Oh, because I didn't see the Cheeto part, but I saw the Chone, and Chone is the village that is very close to Manta. So that's very cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
I've had this shirt since like 2021.
That's awesome.
Or like 2022. I believe I bought it right before he fought Dominic Cruz, which was
Very
like
cool.
probably the loudest I've ever screamed for a fight when he head kicked Cruz.
Yeah, crazy, crazy.
Yeah, I broke my closet door because of it. I was so happy.
That's awesome.
But I love
That's
Cheeto
nuts, man.
Vera.
Very cool, man. Very cool to see you with such passion. What are you? You're in high school or in college?
I just graduated high school. I'm going into a community college and then from there moving to Miami to. I want to become a UFC commentator, so I'm
Hey,
moving
man.
to Miami.
That's awesome, man. Best of luck to you. I think you have a bright future. I think this is honestly one of the funner interviews that I've had, just because you're knowledgeable.
Thank
A
you.
lot of these guys, they have different types of interviews, but a lot of these guys, they can't hold a conversation for MMA, and we're talking MMA. So this was fun. I enjoyed talking, just rankings and knowledge and
Yeah.
where fighters are, and that's cool. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep building up your resume, and I'm sure you'll go super far, bud.
Thank you, man. We can wrap this up with one last question. Do you have a message for all your fans and supporters that have followed you throughout your career, to the amateurs today, right now, as we sit here? And what can we expect from you both inside and outside the octagon in the remainder of 2025?
Sure, man. I'm a big fan of just humble fighters. And that's something that I want to, exemplify to my fans and to, people that look up to me or to my style. So I always say, hey, stay humble. But part of the humility comes from like the love that I get from, fans and training partners and loved ones. And, you know, I'm always repping the people and places that I've grown up or trained at,
So,
so New Orleans, Virginia, DC area, and obviously Ecuador, they're very like dear to me. So I'm always repping those places, especially in New Orleans, man. New Orleans definitely saw me grow
yeah,
up. Obviously Ecuador, because that's my flag, that's where I'm from. But I'm always repping you guys. I want to make you guys proud, and then just keep an eye out. I'm always working on new things, on new techniques, and my coach is Ryan Hall. Love him or hate him, I love his innovation, and that's one thing
yeah.
that I take from him is to try to have the most innovative style that I can. And right now I'm in the process of putting my grappling and my striking together. So just keep an eye out.
Yes, sir, absolutely, guys. Or not Marlon, Carlos Vera, guys. Make sure you guys go follow him on Instagram. Do you have any? Do you have a clothing brand or anything you want to promote?
No clothing brand, just Carlos Vera MMA on Instagram. The clothes brand will come out soon enough. So we're
Let's
working on that as
go.
we speak. But besides that, man, just cheers to everybody. Thanks to you, Trace, and we'll
Yes,
talk
sir.
soon. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate your time.
Cheers, bro. Peace.
Cheers, bro.